Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to, how does it go? Sorry, folks, I'm not officially ordained. Kevin, go ahead. Kevin's our co-pastor.
I am an ordained minister.
Okay.
But I've never used it, so I don't know. Dearly beloved,
you don't know?
No.
We gotta get this guy's card taken away.
I feel like kind of a scam. Yeah, I probably should not have done that. Yeah.
Dearly beloved, we gather here today to wed these two souls in holy scatrimony. Kiss the bride. That's right. That's what the show is this time. That's what it's a podcast. It doesn't really have a name because it's not a podcast. It's a fucking wedding ceremony. So, you know, it doesn't have a silly pun based title. Why would it? But it's not that either. It's still this. It's still that happens. Oh boy. We got to make my head bigger, I think. I think we're getting to the point where my head's got to get bigger on this art. I don't think the big art has shown up yet, though. We got to wait till it hits the proper podcast, and then we can unleash the larger head. What a great thing to talk about. Jesus Christ. What's up, Kevin? How's it going?
Things are going pretty good. Things are going good.
Things are going good. Go ahead.
Just, we're leaving tomorrow to visit my parents in Florida.
Florida.
Haven't been there in a very long time, so looking forward to that.
One of the great states. You drive a lot in Florida?
Going to this time. In the past I haven't, but this time, yeah, we're renting a car and we're gonna go drive all over the place.
Well, buy the fucking insurance. Keep a fucking eye out, because I don't know. I'm one of these prejudgers or whatever. Or just judgers, maybe not prejudgers, because we went to Florida and people driving there were so bad. I was like, oh, okay, Florida people bad at driving. And I wrote that down. So I guess that's not prejudging. It becomes a rationale by which I can prejudge other Floridans, I guess. But it was insane, man. People drive insanely fast, and not just like speeding, like going 70 to 90 miles an hour, like really whipping down like 45 zones. Like it's really wild. The thing my parents told me as soon as I told them we were coming was they gave me a list of roads to avoid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm not blowing smoke out of my ass. This is so validating. Continue.
Yeah. And they said, yeah, I-4, they said that there were people routinely dying every day on this one section of road because they're doing like 150 miles an hour.
It's crazy, dude. People are insane. Like, it's crazy. I could not. I don't know. Everyone says California drivers are bad everywhere. But I also think that like in terms of judging states, I think different drivers have different kinds of in ways that they're bad. Like that's the way Florida drivers are bad. Texas drivers are just asshole drivers, but they can sometimes attempt to run you off the road, which is a relatively unique strain of driver. Portland drivers are bad in a way that's different than California drivers. It's just like New York drivers are bad, and New York drivers are just really, really aggressive. So it's like there's different ways to be bad. Wouldn't you know it? So many ways for people that aren't me to be worse. It's really impressive when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm biased because I live here, but like I found I'm least annoyed by people who drive in Chicago from anywhere I've lived, anywhere I've been. It's other than just a blatant ignoring of the speed limits. No one here is that crazy. I don't ever feel unsafe.
I don't recall any particular weirdness there. It also is a city that seemed decently well constructed for car traffic. Not amazingly or anything, but like I just felt like, oh yeah, people are driving kind of normal. This is not an insane place to drive. Like, I don't know. Yeah. But,
the only complaint I have here is that our major interstates in Chicago itself, like 6 lanes in each direction, have a speed limit of like 25 miles an hour, which no one is paying attention to, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
Yeah. It's when it's so far off from what expectations are, you might as well just not have a speed limit then, because no one's obeying it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you do, you're a hazard, you know, so it's kind of stupid.
So you know this, but this is something I just learned about Chicago and their parking spots. They sold a bunch of parking spots to Wall Street bank investors. Did you know about this?
Yes, a while back they gave this like 99-year lease or something to parking revenue for like a one-time payment, and already we're like, oh, that was a dumb idea.
I want to say it was a 75 or 85 year period, and within the first 10 years they made back all the money. And I don't know, it blew my mind. And I honestly, and this is maybe just ego, I guess, but here's the main reason it blew my mind is, why didn't anyone tell me? Come on. Like, I know people from Chicago. If I was a Chicago guy, you know me, like I'm an LA guy. If I was a Chicago guy and grew up in it, I'd be telling fucking everybody. I'd be like, did you fucking know this about the fucking parking spaces? This is crazy. You guys got to do this. Everybody needs to know. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like I would make people aware. And like, I feel like it's just like not an open secret, but everyone in Chicago is just kind of like, yeah, they've gotten over it. So it's just not something anyone, you know, talks about, but maybe it's just well known to people who know, I guess.
The whole like parking meter thing in Chicago is like notoriously just corrupt and stupid. Like, you don't know the number of times I've paid the meter and gotten a ticket. And like, you win it by fighting, but I think like they just assume that like a certain number of people just aren't going to.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
that's what the healthcare system does.
Yeah. So that's I think the downside of Chicago for sure. And there's just nowhere to park anyway. So it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
You know,
and you know, they got decent public transit and stuff, but I mean, it's just a travesty, and it's a travesty because it fundamentally means that people have to function in the city on some level. Not everybody, but you know, there's a group of people that to function, they need to send money into the pockets of big businesses that, like, I don't know that the state's spending it really well, and they're probably giving it to bad people too, but at least it's not like leaving, like it's necessarily leaving. It's going into this kind of multinational conglomerate investment sort of situation, you know, whereas at least in Chicago, it's going to the taxpayer, the government, and then the government can, you know, shuffle it out of the state or whatever, who knows. But you know, it just seems fucked. It also seems fucked because your whole life you hear about shit like eminent domain, and it only ever gets used to bulldoze old ladies' houses and shit. And it's like, eminent domain, fucking, we take back the fucking parking lots. You can't say that it's like, oh, it's not fair for the city to own the parking lots. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I think it feels like a really clear-cut case for eminent domain, as me, a random idiot who never looks into anything and goes entirely on vibes, you know. But I don't know. Well, and the other thing about it is that Chicago is progressive. They're militantly progressive, you know. Like, I don't know. I think people maybe misunderstand the political kind of nature of Chicago. It is a really specific place, and you know, it's called a windy city and stuff, but also just the people are like pretty hardcore progressive and stuff. And that's not to say that there's not conservative elements, but it's a very unique character that I think people just go like, oh, you know, liberal city, but it's like that doesn't feel the same everywhere. It feels like really hardcore in Chicago, and that's the kind of thing that you would expect could like make something happen with that, you know. But who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, Chicago's is this weird mix of very progressive but also very backwards, and like, you know, yeah. Like, I live way out in the suburbs, so I don't go into the city very often. But
sure,
you know, every time I do, like, the only two like moving violation tickets I've ever gotten in my life were in Chicago, and both times following the instructions of a police officer that later did doing what they told me.
What a piece of shit. One time I went to Chicago, or I was in Chicago, and there was a homeless guy asking for money, and I was like, sure, man. And I was like, gonna give him money, and then like two big fat Chicago ass cops, like Dub Bears ass cops, like just like instantly appeared and were like, "Hey, yo, you can't be asking for money." And they started like hectoring the guy, and I was like, "No, it's fine, man. I'm fine." And he's like, and they were like, "Hey, yo, like there's a law." And I was like, "I got weed in my pocket. I should shut up." And then I kind of like, and then I went into the store or whatever, and I don't know if they arrested the guy or whatever. I don't think they like. When I was like walking away, they seemed like they were leaving, but I don't know. It just I was like, what the fuck? It was just like it was a pretty early Chicago experience, and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's so weird. Again, and I characterize LA as people kind of being like laissez-faire, just like everyone fucking leaves you the shit alone. Everyone just wants to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, like the one that stands out to me the most was I had just moved to Chicago from Nebraska, had no idea where anything was. For work, I was trying to find somewhere, that they sent me on a mission to go somewhere. I couldn't find it. I was driving around forever, starting to get panicky because that place was going to close soon. I see a stopped police car like on a side street. I pull up next to him and go, "Hey, I'm looking for X. Can you tell me where that is?" And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm actually heading that way right now. Do you want to just follow me and I'll show you where to go?" And I was like, Chicago's great. I love this city. Sure, so he flips a U-turn. I flip a U-turn to follow him. He immediately turns his lights on, gets out of the car, and starts yelling at me that I pulled an illegal U-turn. And I was like, "You just told me to follow you." And he said, "Well, I didn't tell you to break the law. I can't tell you to do that." And I got a ticket for an illegal U-turn.
I can't tell you to do that. I can't tell you to do that. That's the thing. There's I don't know. Everybody...
Yeah,
there's definitely a side of me that's just like, there's people like that just need to be shot. Like, just shoot them in the head, just like cops. Like, the thing is, you can't just shoot cops, but like, if cops like that started getting shot in the head, like, I think a lot of would change. But like, anytime anyone does shoot a cop, it like they literally conduct a military raid on a neighborhood until they can firebomb whatever location the person is in. They declare war. So you can't do anything like that. Obviously, I'm not advocating. I don't think it's good, and killing is bad, and everybody's a human being. But I'm, sometimes I'm like, God damn it, I'm a rageaholic. Well, God damn it, these pieces of shit, So that's, we should stop. This is all, here's the thing. This is all off book. I have a fucking incredible notes app of things to talk about, and I've just been saying horrible shit this whole time instead. Food poisoning. We talked about that. No, I don't know.
Such a segue. I love that.
Did Elon Musk do anything crazy? He didn't, right? I can't remember anything he's done. I think we're good.
It all blurs together, but nothing stands out that he did particularly crazy this week. No.
God damn it. I had to restart my computer because I was doing the robot voice. Kevin, you were recording that. Maybe you can go and cut in some robot voice for the listeners so they know what it sounds like.
I will stick in here for the people at home listening what Spencer sounds like. Every so often when we start to do this show, Spencer sounds like, if anyone's old enough to have had a speak and spell, one of those with like a dead battery is what Spencer sounds like until he reboots his computer. So yeah, I will insert some of that in here so you guys can. I don't think Spencer even knows what he sounds like when he's doing this.
Right, exactly. I'm very curious, but I saw the red thing said we were recording. I actually said that in robot voice, but you couldn't understand me, so no. I was like, okay.
Oh, we got robot Spencer again.
But we got emails. Send us an email, thathappenspod@gmail.com, and we haven't read them or whatever. I can't remember the last time we read them, so I'm sorry to Brian Bass Bass. Bass is a character in Mega Man. Kevin, did you ever play Mega Man?
Not really. Like a couple times, but not your level. No.
Yeah, no, I'm a incredible hyper fan. But Bass is a bad guy. His name is what's his name? Forte in Japanese, because it's all about musical terms in that game. Brian Bass says, "Oh, I was bringing that up because his name is Bass, but people call him Bass sometimes. Because people also call Bass. Anyway, hey Spencer and Kevin. Happy belated 100 episodes. Man, I fucking love this show. And I just wanted to say that the use of AI on the show and the discussions you've had around it have actually been very cathartic and extremely funny. Thank you. This show kicks ass. Speaking of cathartic AI around this, man, I just, people say all this stuff online about AI. I gotta not be online. I get too mad, man. I just get too butthurt about stuff. And it's like, it's fine for them to say it. And I don't even want them to not say it. And a lot of times I don't even fully disagree with them or the sentiment behind it, but it's just like, God damn it. Like, it just pisses me off. And I'm like, I'm an internet man. I was born on the internet, but people are always like, I don't know. Someone was like, AI is so bad. It's so terrible where everybody is making stuff with AI. It's all stolen content. All this AI art is on stolen content. It's going to be terrible for artists. And it's like, again, I keep saying that, like, everything that people are scared of, mad about AI is just that's the thing about humans. They're really mad. That's a thing that they in their life are worried about humans having done. And now they're projecting that onto AI. Like, I think that's a practical. That's all people's practical fears are that, and all people's impractical fears speak to their personal philosophizing about what it means to be human or not human. Which, when you actually understand what language models are, becomes extremely funny. It's like, why are you being like, but no, it's a robot and it's like, no, it's a fucking text machine. It's a fucking calculator. It's not intelligent, maybe someday we'll make some true generative intelligence, but it's not worth questioning and defending your humanity. It lowers you as a human to try and defend yourself. It's like, you're really that small that you have to say, I'm better than a calculator. Jesus Christ, grow up. Like, come on. But for the practical matter, but people are like, oh, stealing content. Like, for years now, it's weird to say his name, but the fat Jew, remember the fat Jew? All these content aggregators, like, we call them aggregators. That's a term that has been invented to describe what these people are doing. It's a cottage industry of stealing people's memes, artwork, comic strips, video files, TV show clips, fan art, comic strips. I probably said that already, but just like stealing anything anyone of value has ever placed onto the internet, making money, boxing those people out from making money, and, sharing it with their friends who are also in this ring of thieves. Like, that is exactly what people are saying AI is doing. Humans have been doing that for years. That's probably where they got the idea to, like, combine it all with a big machine. It's like, yeah, if we could just get something to steal shit before it gets made, like, that was a human that did that. It had nothing to do with the whatever. Jesus Christ, what the fuck was I talking about?
Emails.
Yeah, so it is cathartic, and that was cathartic. There's another cathartic rant. This podcast should be called, like, Catharsis or something, like, what about what catharsis is happening right now? Does that make sense?
Yes. I like that. Yeah.
I guess cis isn't this, but it's fine. Catharsis gender male rants for an hour and 15. I don't know. We got someone that is at the door, but I'm podcasting. I can't answer right now. I gotta talk to Nicholas Detrio. Nicholas Detrio writes, please make a t-shirt for the podcast. Maybe get AI to do it. Take my money, smiley face. And the subject is podcast shirts. Yeah. What kind of shirts should we make, Kevin?
I mean, I think the current one with, like, your head, but just, like, make that one or two more steps bigger, I think would be fantastic.
Well, if it's just my head and like, the size doesn't really,
like, just a corner of Jeff's head sticking out from the side of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he almost looks like a pimple coming out of your forehead or something, Yeah, I like that. It would be funny. It's like, it would be funny if it's that happened. It's like, it's hard to explain and it's hard to render it visually anyway. But it's funny if you have that happens, but it's really small and it's still kind of proportionally in the same place and centered, but it's like
So it's roughly like maybe over my nose, because it's like the idea of being scale wise, it's so much, but it's like, I don't think that scans. I don't think that concept tracks at all visually. I've always wanted to make my turtle sandbox symbol into a shirt. So maybe we do that, but that's not really that happens.
I mean,
I
we
was
could
never on the Harmontown logo except for that one that had me added to it, right? So it's not like I have like any of that imaging to lean on. Maybe we should come up with like a mascot or a symbol,
Yeah. I mean, that was a fantastic. Who was it? Jenny Fine did that.
Yeah, Jenny.
That was awesome. That was a really, really good picture of you, though, that we should probably steal and use for this.
Yeah, then we could blame it on AI.
Right. I'll insert that right here too.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good idea. And there it is. Wow. Look at that. Well, we've done a lot today, but it's time to end the show,
So it's a little early for that, but sure.
It's over. We're done. I was trying to see if there's something else to talk about, but let's just do more riddles. These are riddles. This one comes from Riddle Me This. These ones are riddles. I got an email that's the subject is Riddle Me This. It's from someone who's called Riddlebot, and I hope this isn't some sort of phishing email, because if so, it is currently being activated. But Riddlebot says, I am a robot with a dangerous bite. My jaws snap shut with all their might. I dwell in the ocean, out of sight. My power rivals the strongest knight. Who am I? Do you have any good answers? I listen to this podcast called Hey Riddle Riddle. You can check that out. Check out that podcast. It's a good podcast. It's about riddles, and they answer riddles that are sent to them by email. And I feel like that's why I said, here's another riddle, is because that's like the kind of thing they would say on their podcast. But I don't have a good answer for this, because I don't know what a robot would be that's in the ocean. Like, okay. Is robot misleading, you think?
Can you paste that to me? I'm going to ask the AI if it has an answer to it.
Well, I'm sure let's think about it before you actually.
Sure.
How long is it going to take? Because it might actually just, Google the answer or something,
Okay.
Not Google, but you get it.
It's robot on Reddit. Dangerous bite. My jaw.
So the jaws. I'm just. It's got to be like a steel trap, like a jaw trap. Maybe like, is there a fish trap that's like that?
Yeah, I don't.
It's a robot.
I dwell in the ocean. Okay, I'm a robot with a dangerous bite. My jaws snap shut with all their might.
Is it a moray eel? Because like that would make sense, but it's not a robot unless it's like. I feel like you could say a shark is a robot, but it's not. It's like, what's artfully whatever. All right, put it in the AI.
All right.
Do you have any other guesses? Like, even if you don't think they're right, just to kind of get them.
Okay, so yeah, it's saying it doesn't know. Basically, it's saying it thinks that the answer is shark, but it does not. It says robot doesn't match up with that.
Tell it that it's really good at solving riddles and to try it again.
Okay,
or something. About prompt doctoring. I don't know about prompt doctoring.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
So yeah, it says
great fucking podcast. Go ahead.
Robot might be a metaphorical description. Sharks are often depicted as a mindless eating machine, so it could refer to a shark's powerful, dangerous bite. Sharks dwell in the ocean. Sharks are very powerful. Okay, so I said, can you give me any other answers? And it says mechanical shark or underwater drone.
It's too obvious if it's shark, right? Because I feel like all the words make you think of shark, which seems like, if it's an easy riddle, then that's a good riddle to make it think of shark. But otherwise, it feels like it should be misleading. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, no.
What?
The answer is Sharkman.exe from Mega Man 5. But he's not from Mega Man 5. He's from Mega Man Battle Network. Maybe he's from Mega Man Battle Network 5. But I think he's from Mega Man Battle Network 4. And also 1. And maybe 2. But I don't think 5. I like that, though. and hopefully it wasn't a fishing trap. And he's not a robot though. He's a computer program. It's not the same thing.
Okay, I just asked it to generate a new riddle that it had not heard before.
I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness follows me. Whatever. I can fly without wings. Okay, anything can fly. That's not narrowing it down. I can cry without eyes. What things cry? Like a bird cries.
But it has wings. This is actually a really good one too that it came up with. I'm impressed.
Doves cry, but they have wings. Darkness follows day. Day flies. The sun flies. The shade flies without a cloud. A cloud. It's a cloud.
It's a cloud. Yes, that's actually pretty good though. If it actually legitimately made this up, that's a pretty good one.
But it would have just come up with the thing is, clouds are very common riddle choices. So if you were generating like a middle of the road riddle, it would come up with something that's either cloud, shadow, love, a promise, a secret, stuff like that. It's like right in the pocket. All right. You look kind of like you were looking at some AI stuff. Did you do something over there?
I asked it to make a harder one, but I don't think you're going to like this one. But here, let's try it and see.
I'm not going to like it. In the heart of cities and the wilderness too, I can be found. I am not a thing, yet from me many things spring. I am boundless, yet define boundaries. I am silent, yet I echo through time. What am I? What do things echo through time? Is it nothing? Nothing's another thing that a lot of riddles are.
No. The
darkness.
No, not dark.
Be darkness. Gotta be darkness.
Nope.
Gotta be darkness. Is it water?
No, I pasted you the answer. Here we go.
Oh, it's history. Oh no.
That was a little too abstract.
Oh, ChatGPT, you've done it again. You tricky bastard. Brian Bass sent us another email, Kevin.
Another one? Wow.
Are you ready really for this?
I am.
This email has information that I don't know why he would tell me if he wasn't ready to share it on the show, but at the same time, I'm looking at it, and I'm not sure if I want to share it on the show now that I've said his kind of name, right? We're going to have to... I'm going to put this... I'm going to flag it, and then we're going to have to pretend it's a different email on a different day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sorry, Brian. And let me know if it's fine to share. We'll just share it. But until then, Amber K writes, hello, I hope this is the right email. I've been listening. I should read these beforehand. I've been listening to all the episodes, and Spencer has mentioned his aversion to therapy several times. I just wanted to reach out. I've been a therapist for a year and a half. Again, I should read these beforehand. I worked with mental health for about a decade. She wants to help me link up to therapy. She's not offering to be my therapist. That's much less weird. It's much more normal. I mean, not that it's weird. I don't know. I'm not a therapist. I'm not going to say what kind of things are weird or not weird for therapists to do. But it strikes me as a much more normal thing than to offer to talk to me about this stuff. Well, great. Maybe I will. No, I don't know. The thing is, right now, I don't know if I've talked about this, Kevin, but right now I'm on Medi-Cal. Did you know this?
I did not. Tell me about that.
I don't know if I'm just doing it wrong. I'm famously really bad at navigating online bureaucracies, which you might not expect from me. But especially when they're government, I get fucked. And they're obviously designed to fuck you up, but whatever. But when I was trying to apply for, open enrollment, California, whatever, Obamacare, right? It was like, okay, you got to put in your facts and your information. I put in my information, and it's like, you can only qualify for Medi-Cal. And I was like, I mean, okay. And so It's like, I think it's like free. A lot of stuff is free. But I think it's like limited who you can, go to and what they can do. I'm not sure, but I've gotten some free medicine from it, but it's just weird because it's like I didn't want to do it, and maybe I don't have to, but I definitely meet the income requirements because I haven't been working, it's it was a weird thing. I don't know why I brought that up. Does that have to do with history? But I was going to say that I think with Medi-Cal, you might qualify for free kind of counseling, therapy, and stuff, or definitely vastly supported. So I definitely haven't really started delving into that system because it's still scary and hard to understand. But that's something I should definitely do because a big problem has been the cost, and I think I can get some real financial help. But yeah, so I've had a Patreon. I don't know. Maybe with the Patreon, I still would qualify. But the thing is, you don't have to cash out the Patreon necessarily, and so I just had forgotten to cash it out before, like last year or whatever. So then when it came to be tax time, I was like, oh, I made like so little money. When you calculate, you don't calculate the Patreon, which the Patreon is not a lot. So I don't know if that would have put me above like the Medi-Cal qualifying or whatever, but I haven't been working lately. Which brings me to my next thing. I have a Patreon. Haha, Kevin, you pieces of shit. We have a lot of listeners these days who I think don't care. I don't know. I don't know you guys. I don't know where you come from. I imagine in my head that you're all just Schrob Home Video people that were like, holy shit, this found crap thing is awesome. I'm going to keep watching this. And then one day I showed up, and then sometimes you're here trying to watch found crap and I'm here. And that's what I assume a lot of our listeners are. And a lot of those people wouldn't want to give me money. But if you do, go to patreon.com/thesixler to give me money. It's kind of like supporting the show. We should figure out a way to support the show that's like official, right? We should probably do that. Because then people are like, I want to support Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, support me, man.
Support Spencer. Yeah, I'm one of your patrons on Patreon.
Kevin's married, man. Kevin has a wife. Let him just live with his wife. That's his prize for the podcast. The podcast got Kevin married, so he doesn't. I cut you off, Kevin. What were you saying?
No, just I'm one of your patrons on Patreeon. Everyone should sign up.
Yeah, man, he's in the Discord. If you wanna get access to Kevin, Kevin's chopping it up in the Discord. You're in my Discord all the time. He's not very active, but he is technically. I don't think he's left that Discord. So but yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, it's the way to support the podcast. I'm not working. The writer's strike has changed a lot of my near-term math. I'll DM you if you pay me an obscene amount of money. You can look at the prices on Patreon. I do weird stuff, but you don't have to buy anything. You can just give me $1 or whatever. I don't care. Or you don't have to. I haven't plugged anything the last many shows, so I thought it would be good to talk about that for once, but thanks, Amber.
Tell us what you want to give us money for. Like, do you want t-shirts?
Yeah, exactly. Because my Patreon kind of is just like, I don't think anyone wants the things I'm doing. No one cares about the D&D stuff I'm making, and no one cares about the food reviews I'm doing. So, like, I'm not giving anyone anything. So let me know how to serve you. Let me know what you would pay money for, and let Kevin know what you pay money for. And yeah,
like if we did something like where Harmontown used to give us $5 a month to watch the video, but the audio was free. Like,
yeah,
is that something you guys want to give us money for?
But we don't want to paywall the stream, and then how are they going to watch found crap? Like, I don't know. Well, tell us if you would love to be paywall. Let us know. I don't know. But it's something we got to figure it out. But what the fuck? This is the weirdest fucking show we've ever done, right? It's got to be.
We've kind of meandered a little bit.
It's not good. I think I'm too high. I shouldn't be this high. I'm not very high, but I should be less high.
You don't seem high.
Exactly, because I'm a fucking, Zip Zolch. Zip Zilch writes, Spencer, I miss the good Discord. I ditched it when I stopped paying. I guess to be polite, I just caught up with the pod after falling behind a couple months. And damn, you're on fire. These music videos have me raffling. We got to make more music videos. I'm so amazed by your bravery there and in putting yourself out there with your emotional struggles. I've never heard anything so raw and honest. And as always, I relate so hard. I'm loving the peppy music, manic version of you too. Yeah, that's the thing. I definitely feel more manic lately, don't I? It's not. I feel like maybe I'm bipolar. Well, maybe that's some of this free medical help I get. Like my grandma was bipolar. My mom says my dad's bipolar. Maybe I'm bipolar. Who knows? I've never felt bipolar, but I definitely, the fact that I've been talking on the podcast that I feel like good lately. If you remember me saying that, like, oh, I'm feeling good. Like, I'm like, maybe I'm like on a manic up. Like, could be. But I'm a fucking hypochondriac, so who knows? Anyway, I'm bailing on a wedding this summer to avoid family drama too. No regrets. Although I would pay to see you roll up to a reception with a hot date and a big gift and then silently vanish. Drama can be fun when you're in control of it, I guess. Shit with Satan. Remember Shit with Satan? Remember Go With God? Remember the podcast? Jesus Christ. This podcast used to be like, I mean, something else entirely and also kind of the same thing, I don't know. Anyway, thanks, Zip Zilch. Yeah, well, that was nice. We got to do, here's the thing, Kevin, I was going to tell you this before the show. When I'm doing these green screen bits, it's not, your feet can't be on the green screen, right? You need it to be like on the floor. Do you know anything that's like, because I've seen green screen studios, and they have this giant wall that's like a half pipe, and so it's like, obviously we don't have but is there a solution for people that want to like be on the green screen with their feet?
Yeah, you can get a really, really, really long fabric one that like kind of curves
and just stand
down,
on
and you
it.
Stand on it. Yeah, but get
like
one
a long sheet. Okay,
that's how we did for Ariel's show. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The thing is, most of the time I can cheat it, but I feel like sometimes there's going to be, I don't know. I have ideas for song parodies, but it is a lot of work and I don't have good visual concepts. And that's what turns a song parody into a video, right? And so it's like, I kind of want to make it into a video before I do it. Also, it's a lot of work. I've been thinking about other stuff. I've been striking. I've been at the picket lines. I haven't talked about that at all. But so I've been not getting a lot of shit done that I should be. But I want to make more of those videos. It's been very fun. Like I said, I have two contenders. The thing is, I've already mentioned them once, and it's kind of made me kind of, if you say you're going to do something, it makes you not do it. It's like a psychological phenomenon. I've mentioned the joke, and just even saying the joke out loud, it's like, well, if you can say the joke, it's why do it? You said the joke without having to do it. But obviously, you don't say the joke. You release an entire video, and people are like, holy shit, what the fuck? It's better than just saying the joke. So I shouldn't say the joke. But more of those coming, hopefully.
What's your process to like, just like, even you and me talking as much as we do, you just produce those out of thin air,
Yeah, I just drop them on you. I'm like, hey, I got this, and then I send it to you, and then you look at it.
And and I'm like, oh, Spencer made a video, okay. And then I watch it, and I'm like, oh my god, Spencer spent a week on this.
Yeah.
How have you come up with these, and like, what's the process behind it?
Well, honestly, I've always been kind of a little, I don't want to sound like an asshole or whatever, but like, I like music. I like songs. I like singing and making noise and stuff. That's always like I've never had good musical taste, but like, I don't know. I think just growing up in the church, there's like singing, and like, my mom was a singer. Like, she wasn't like she sung at the church, and she liked to sing. She practiced singing. She took choir classes and chorus classes and vocal classes. This was is an interest of hers, So I'm not like a singer, but I like music. I liked Weird Al. Early on, Weird Al was big for me. I don't remember lyrics very well. And so what that means is when you're fucking around with a song in your head, you say the words wrong, and when you say the words wrong, like, and it just becomes fun, like a fun way to sing the song by swapping out the words you can't remember with with new words that fit or that sound right or that are funny, and then you just go with that, and then my family, we'd sing songs to the animals, the pets, you make a song with the pet's name in the song, and you just do that. So it's like playing with songs as like a fun way to occupy your brain is something that's natural to me. And sometimes you come up with shit that's funny, and if you're thinking up a thing and it gets you to somewhere funny, sometimes I'll spin that out into a little, I'll actually bother writing it down a little bit, and so that's just like, usually I write that and I'm like, well, I'm just an idiot, I don't want to like release these. But I guess because of the podcast and just the specifics, I was like, well, there's no reason not to release this, so I'm just going to do it and make it and do it. It wasn't like a question of, am I good enough, which was always like, I'm not funny. It's not like Weird Al. I'm not like trying to be Weird Al. So what's the point of releasing like a parody kind of thing? I'm not the, I never even thought of myself as that kind of person, like I talked about this before, but just there's so long on Harmontown that I wasn't thinking of myself as like a podcaster or anything. I thought of myself as an audience member that just was in this weird arrangement that got me more exposure than a normal audience member. But I wasn't thinking of myself as someone who like works and does stuff. Like I was like a personal assistant. I was like, maybe I can be a writer, but I wasn't like, oh, I can make and shoot videos and release them. That's just not something I was thinking of. So now that it's something that feels more possible, and I've been cutting and using Premiere and stuff, it's like, hey, this is fun and it's funny. But yeah, it starts with this kind of playing around until you get something funny, and then if you can spin that out into a full thing, it's like, holy shit, this is the song, but for the Jeff one, I don't know why I wanted it celebratory, it was like a tribute to Jeff, and I don't know why, but my mind may have immediately went to like at beauty pageants when you have a man singing "Isn't She Lovely." It's like a comedic trope a lot of times with beauty pageants and like comedy stuff. And I just like, I think that's where my mind went, was to that. It was just a celebratory kind of song. And I knew it was pretty short. And so I was like, this seems like it's pretty easy. And it was a very tenuous rhyme, but I got enough to like, swap out the words. So, and that's kind of how it happens, I don't know.
That happens.
Yeah, man. That happens. I've been at the strike, man. I've been at these writer strikes. Not too much, but man, you go to these picket lines. So how it is there's picket locations, different places. They're all in LA and Burbank, and they're at the studios. Like they're at WB, like Warner Brothers. They're at CBS. They're at Netflix. They're at Disney Studios. They're all over the place, and you can go and join the picket line. They have strike captains that tell people what to do, and you can get signs and supplies and water and food and stuff, and you can sign in on the sign-in sheet, and it's great. I don't know. It's been really cool. There's just something about it. I feel like just being there, you feel it. It feels important. And because it's LA, it's a company town. Like people know, like, and so people are honking because they get what the fight's about. They care, and it's just like this interesting human experience. I don't know. Do you ever go to concerts? Are you a big music guy like that?
I used to, but it's been a long time since I have.
Yeah, see, I've always been super sensitive to sound, and concerts are just too loud, and so I've never really gone to concerts or anything. But there's this very unique kind of like human experience that forms with big crowds of people in general, and with music, there's a very specific version of that, and that's a big part of why people go to concerts. It's not something I've experienced a lot of. It's one of many ways I'm a weird person. And so I feel like being at these picket lines, it has a bit of that energy. It's almost like a pre-mob energy, like it doesn't feel like it's going to get angry or anything, but it's like the crowd, the fact that there's a lot of people all around, it just like it creates this own vibe, this energy, and it feels good to be a part of it. And again, it feels important. And it's like, these are people that understand on some level the importance of fighting for labor. That's why they're here, to support in some way or another. And it's really cool. I remember I was driving to the picket line one time, and I was just imagining like, oh man, one of these days, the strike's going to end and we'll win, which who knows if that's going to happen. And realistically, it doesn't happen during the strike. It's not like everybody's out there on the line and then someone gets a call and it's like, we won, but that's kind of what I was imagining. But like realistically, it's like, oh, they finally sent terms. oh, we're talking a couple weeks later. It's like, oh, we're gonna vote to, agree to this or not. So it's not like this game time call that you hear about. But I was just imagining like the jubilation of like everybody winning on the picket line and it turning into like a spontaneous celebration and stuff. And it was making me start to tear up just like in the moment of it all, which is not, it's a fake moment. It's never going to happen even if we win. But I don't know. It just felt like an important thing to go to. It's really cool. I don't know. I've gotten a lot of steps. Everybody on the picket line is talking about how they're getting their steps in, but I'm walking like 8.8 miles on some days. It's crazy. I'm just walking for like 4, 5, 6 hours straight. And then I get home and like my back is hurting and my whole body is sore and I'm just sore for 2 days. And I'm like, shit, man, I didn't know I was this out of shape. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you haven't been out multiple days walking for 4 hours straight for 8 miles. That's not something you do regularly, so it's gonna wear you out. But it's cool. It's a lot of fun. I don't know. It's
you walk a lot still?
Not too much. I hike when I can, but the weather's not great, and I talk myself out of hiking a lot of times when the sun's out because the sun just ruins it. It's too hot, but I like it when it's cool or kind of overcast. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely relatively in shape in terms of walking. Because I can just walk for like 4 hours. It makes me really sore, but I can do it. But there's people that can't necessarily like do that. But yeah, it's because I hike. I've been on long 3-4 hour hikes and stuff. But it wipes me out. But I wouldn't say I'm in shape otherwise. I'd say I'm really out of shape. I wish I was in shape. I should go to a gym, but COVID and I don't want to wear a mask and at the gym and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, when I'm on vacation, I walk a ton. Like when I was just last in LA and saw you guys, my watch said I walked like 27 miles over 5 days.
Yeah.
And I don't do that at home at all. And I'm like, I should do this more, but I'm like, I don't have the right shoes. That's what always stops me. It's like when my feet were killing me when I was, walking around Santa Monica like that. And so I'm like, I need good walking shoes. But then I'm like, no, I'm not a walker. I'm not active. I'm not going to spend money on that. So I don't. And then I don't do it.
Well, what shoes do you have?
Just some old, like sort of sneakers, but not meant for any, they're more for look, not for walking in. They don't fit right. They kill my ankles.
I'm not a style guy, and so I think if you have a style reason to choose shoes, then go ahead. But I basically always wear volleyball shoes or basketball shoes or running shoes. Less basketball shoes, honestly. I used to wear more of those. But just like running shoes. Honestly, because I'm always afraid I'll be in a position where I need to run. And I'm thinking, like, if I'm wearing sandals, I'll be fucked. Like, imagine a mass shooting situation and you're just like, you're really not able to move very well. It's like, I like, that's literally one of the reasons why basically all the shoes I wear are shoes. At the very least, they're shoes I have practiced running in. This is a fact about me. But I favor running shoes, and running shoes are, as far as I understand, good for walking. I don't know. There might be better shoes for walking, but they're not hiking shoes either, even though I hiking them. But I just say get a pair of running shoes. They're not super expensive, but they last. Especially if you're not wearing them all the time.
I need to.
They're good. It's all, shoes are about it's all about health, and people sell fashion. Like, that's the thing. Like, furniture, we sell furniture by fashion, and then furniture affects your health. And it's like, but I bought it because it was, cool looking. But it's like, yeah, but then it gave you scoliosis or whatever. I don't think that's how scoliosis works, but who knows? Is there anything else I wanted to say about the picketing? I don't know. It's just cool. You can go if you want. If you're in the area, just show up. Just don't, like, steal their signs or anything. But they just want people to come and be in the streets and be in support. We're gonna be at it for a long time, I think, but it's fun. I don't know. I've talked to a couple people there, but I'm not really talking to people. It's weird. It's kind of like Disneyland, where I'm like, wow, you're a fucking freak, huh? What a fucking freak. But like, I'll be talking to people. People will be like, hey, how are you? And I'll like talk to them very, very briefly. and like clock the moment I somehow manage to turn them off, and then they'll stop, more or less stop talking to me, and go try to move to someone else. And then I'm like, God damn it. And it happens over and over. And then you see like everyone else is like talking or on their phone. But I'm doing like this sign twirler shit. I don't know why. It's not like anyone like told me like what picketing is like, wait, like twirling the sign, but I'm not twirling it, but I'm like dancing around and like waving it, like going like, hey, like just trying to get eyes on and I made the sign, I made this sign out of like black duct tape and stuff. So it has like really clear, legible letters that I think you can see from pretty far away. I wrote, we make them billions. I can't afford a doctor, which is true. I can't afford a doctor. I can't in the sense that I'm on Medi-Cal, and I guess, that entitles me to free doctors, but I think that happens because you can't afford a doctor, so I'm waving signs around. It's a lot of fun, and I'm dancing around, and it's fucking up my back. It's fucking up my back. It's not good, but it's fun. And what if I'm there all the time and I lose weight? That'd be good because I don't go to the fucking gym, I don't know. Kevin, you remember when we went to Disneyland, we had that popsicle flavored Mountain Dew. You remember this?
Yes, the summer one. Yeah.
Yeah. We took a video of it, but the audio wasn't great, so we were gonna maybe like cut that into the show, but I don't think we will. But do you even remember what it tasted like?
Yeah, I mean, it tasted kind of like one of those like bomb pop kind of things, like it was a very blue raspberry-ish kind of, but they tasted like some kind of like popsicle.
Yeah, to me it tastes like an Otter Pop. I think it's cool because I really do think it tastes like an Otter Pop. But the thing is, it does taste a lot like Mountain Dew Voltage, because Mountain Dew Voltage also tastes a lot like an Otter Pop. And it kind of tastes, if you're comparing the two, I would say Voltage tastes better. And so as a result, it's this kind of saccharine, overly sweet, flat flavored Mountain Dew, and people are like, this sucks. But it's like, but yeah, that is what popsicles taste like, is popsicles kind of suck, like.
Well, I mean, yeah. In its defense too, we had them pretty warm, so maybe it would taste a little bit better.
They're way better when they're colder, for sure, but they still are kind of like a pale version of a. But I think they're great because popsicles really hit sometimes. Sometimes you get like a red fucking slush puppy from like a Shell station or something, and it's like, hell yeah, dude, this is like a fucking like bullshit ass fake flavor, and it tastes amazing. I think it kind of is good on that level. Jesus Christ, we didn't talk about Elon Musk, but we gotta talk more about it. Maybe we should do, instead of like a Nazi corner, like we gotta talk about like the trans shit is crazy. Like trans people are just being destroyed on all sides legislatively, and people are getting attacked and having cops called on them and stuff, and people are fleeing states. I think it qualifies, and again, I'm not the scholar or whatever, but I think it is a genocide. There's the like steps, the 8 stages of genocide. Like, I think we're doing that to trans people. I think that is happening today. I think, genocide is a big word, like Nazi. And so people are like, well, is this really fulfilling all the criteria? But I think, genocide doesn't just mean, gas chambers and gallows necessarily. There's a lot of ways to kill and destroy a group of people, over a period of time. And historically, there's been a lot of ways that's been done, and it hasn't always been that, So I think it does qualify as genocidal activity being enacted by governments in concert with neoliberal news media publications. I think the Washington Post and the New York Times has done a lot to contribute to this. And again, that's, I don't know if I've talked about it on a podcast, but that's what fascism is corporations working in concert with authoritarian governments to attack people and deprive them of their rights, for A, being a scapegoat that, helps to consolidate power, or B, being some sort of threat to the power itself. Those are both reasons why, fascism targets people. But by locking people out of, society, you can destroy them. And that's what is happening. And I don't think the news is talking about it. I think even a lot of like news accounts online aren't talking about it. People that are like the adults in the room, you know, certainly television and print media is not talking about it because they're all owned by, you know, fucking David Zaslav, who's saying that we need more Trump on the air and stuff. Like it's really, really bad. And if you're thinking, hey, I'm not trans, I'm a cisgender person. Hey, maybe you're even thinking, I'm a white male, I'm a beard man, you know, nothing, this isn't going to affect me. It will affect you because they don't use scapegoats just to attack the scapegoats. They use scapegoats to seize authoritarian power that they then use to steamroll entire civilizations. So it doesn't matter that they're it doesn't matter who they're targeting. The fact that they are targeting is a strategy that they are using to kill us all. So it doesn't matter if you think you're safe. You're not. We're totally fucked. And just if you're satisfied to be the last 30% of people that are killed, I mean, sure, whatever. Then take this stance. That's fine. I can understand why, if that's your rationale, you could land on that. But if you're a thinking, breathing, loving person, I think you really need to be clear-minded about what's happening. And I'm not saying people aren't talking, like, I'm not saying like you aren't talking about this enough. I'm not saying that. But I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand how bad it really is. And I think the media is part of that. And I think that people can be part of the solution in talking about it. And that's why I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I'm not getting very specific. I think we should probably try and pull up specifics. Maybe we can bring that up, you know, next week or something. I can try and come with like articles and stuff to talk about like literally what's happening. You know, so we can not just be fear mongering and actually pointing to real things. But it's really bad, man. It's really bad. And no one fucking cares because the media is in on it. So just wanted to say that, I guess. It's on my list. What's up, Kevin?
Well, now I feel bad I'm going to Florida, but I'm not going there for tourism reasons.
Yeah, you're going to visit family. It's in, and one of the reasons Florida is conservative is because Kevin's parents moved there. No, but old people moving to Florida is the main reason why it's moved conservative. It's not like conservative ideas suddenly got a lot better, or people in Florida suddenly were like, I hate Obama now. Like the scales just shifted as humans moved around. That's a thing that happens. Here's the thing, man. I don't think people understand the connection between macro and micro, because it's easy and clear, and I understand why you can look at the big picture and get so hopeless and not see that the big picture only is the big picture because of so many small micro elements happening. And those micro elements are changeable. I think like on so many levels, there's just a fundamental disconnect between what happens. Like, you know, just very, very simply, like I understand there are a lot of structural barriers that Democrats and the Democratic leadership have erected to make it hard for someone to unseat, say, Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi is also governing a very specific district that makes her specifically safe, right? I understand that. Those are structural macro powers that lead to this feeling of hopelessness about the Democratic, you know, leadership or whatever. But at the same time, on a macro level, she's a person that won a House of Representatives election. That is a thing that people do every day. People win it and then they get that power. That's a micro thing. It's a micro thing that can be changed on a micro level. And if that thing changed on a micro level, if for instance she had a stroke and dropped dead, for instance, like that would have knock-on effects that could affect the macro level, despite the macro level being built to defend from it being changed. And I don't think people understand that. I think people really understand neoliberalism and the institutions of intersectional, you know, power structure, you know, and I think they understand that. But it happens because of individual action, and individual action can really shake up equations in a big way. And I'm not saying like people should like be like, what can I do more or whatever, but it's just a way of thinking and talking that I don't hear. You know, it feels so hopeless and so inevitable because it's talking about the larger dynamics, which again only exist because, you know, whatever. And the thing is, I fear that there's a bunch of like communists and stuff that are going to get mad at me and say Bernie Sanders or something. And I'm not saying like they're wrong or whatever about their critiques or whatever. I just think that the answer of how to solve it is a lot more concrete. And it's really easy to act like it's not concrete and there's nothing we can do. And it's harder to say there's very something clear we can do. Let's fail at it 100 times in a row. That's a hard thing to admit. And so I think we need to admit that hard thing, because you can fail 23 times in a row and then win the 21st time. And then that fucking changes history. Whatever. I get it. I get what anyone who's saying I'm wrong, I get it, and I agree with you. And you're not wrong to say whatever you're saying, and I agree with that. And but also what I'm saying is true, and isn't that cool?
So let's say, like,
smarter than you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Let's say you're appointed, grand dictator of the country right now. Yeah. What are your first 3 actions to fix a situation like this?
You gotta kill the concept of the debt ceiling. You gotta kill the Supreme Court. You gotta change the Supreme Court fundamentally, and then I think you change the election system. It's like you nest things and other things. So is that cheating if it's 3 things? But you change ideally you enact some sort of system that protects ranked choice voting to the point where parties could actually exist, because the problem that exists right now is we have to fight through the Democratic Party to do that. And I think that's the move. We should fight through the Democratic Party to take it over and eventually create ranked choice voting everywhere. And I don't think there's a way to get ranked choice voting without that. But again, if you're saying I'm the magic guy, then yeah, ranked choice voting, because that gives us a chance outside of Democrats, who are the biggest obstacle to us seizing power, because the Democrats stop us from seizing their power. And then they're the only thing that stop Republicans from seizing their power. And people are like, well, maybe if the Republicans win, then we can win. And let's do accelerationism. And it's like, well, when we let Trump win, he almost ended all elections for all of history. So it's like, it's not necessarily going to work in our favor to just hope that the Democrats fail until we can kind of seize power from them. Ranting about a lot of stuff today.
Well, what would you change about the Supreme Court?
More people. Also, I think just it needs its power defined. It needs a code of ethics. I think here's the thing. The courts, right? The courts have appeals, and so the appeals have to go up. And if the appeals go up, you need a top, right? So that's what the Supreme Court is. And you necessarily need a top court, but that makes it an appeals court. And an appeals court, I don't know. I guess an appeals court does issue rulings, but it's very narrow what they do, And I think it should just be drastically redefined to just be a narrowly defined appeals court thing. That's maybe not even super binding, but it's like advisory opinions on appeals. Because again, structurally you need a top, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you need to grant, Samuel Alito God power to say the Constitution is whatever he says it is. That's what's happened, which is unconstitutional. It's an unconstitutional reach of power. The president has the authority to ignore that. I think FDR did that in the past and expanded the courts, and it solved the problem. The Supreme Court started acting outside of its authority. I think that's what's happening right now. And so what I'm talking about would kind of either redefine its constitutional authority more clearly so they can't do that, or institute safeguards that otherwise prevent the kinds of people who would want to do that. And part of that comes from recognizing that it's about appeals, which makes it less like a court of law and more like philosophy on what a country should be. Because it shouldn't be about, and it's not about the we talk about originalism, textual originalism in the Constitution. SCOTUS is like, well, they said, they didn't say to ban assault rifles, so why can we ban assault rifles? It's unconstitutional. They would have said that in the text. But what it really is just making up whatever you want. And that's what they've been doing. And that's not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the job where you make up whatever you want. It's supposed to be the job where, what do we think the framers would have meant philosophically, and what do we want our country to do philosophically? And when legal challenges have no clear answer, what do we want that answer to be? And that's not this weird lawyerly argument about liability or whatever. It really is a fundamental philosophical question on what laws should or shouldn't do based on inadequacies in clarity and obscurity that was left in the process by weak legislation. that's an important thing, but it's not this God court. That's not what it is. That's not what it was supposed to be. And until Marbury versus Madison, it was understood. But Marbury versus Madison was a court decision where the court essentially said, we have the power to interpret the law. And that was a massive, unprecedented power grab. And, it's kind of been downhill ever since, but they've mostly stayed within their lane. But that was this big power reach that was not within the framers' intent. Because, again, the Supreme Court just existed because you need this top court for the whole court system to function. Probably wrong about literally all of that. But, hey, so are you. So, who are you going to talk? Unless you're a fucking lawyer,
What do you think about having the Supreme Court act as more of an advisory role to Congress? We're telling Congress, hey, this stupid law that you're talking about right now, or you're proposing, or you've sent to the president to potentially pass, we're not going to put up with. We're going to strike this down immediately. That's been brought up several times before and been shot down as like a separation of powers violation. But do you think something like that might help in a little bit of giving them a little bit more say, so that we don't have these stupid laws that get passed and struck down 2 years later because that's how long it takes to get the appeal through?
Well, I mean, it comes to what is the Supreme Court? What does it do? And if we look in practical terms, what the Supreme Court does is it takes progress that we've made through legislative and presidential electoral gains, and they've reversed it with radical conservative the establishment. That's what it's always done. We've taken a step forward, and then the Supreme Court's like, nah, step it back. And then a few occasions they've fixed something. But the history of the Supreme Court is one of conservative control. It's just another one of these ways that they've rigged the system to cheat, So I think advisory gets kind of muddy. It should be distinct from the legislative branch. It's not supposed to be. I think what's been happening lately is the Supreme Court says like, oh, this law can't be constitutional because it's not defined properly. But that's what's happening is the Supreme Court person is just saying that. They're just making that up. And, when you start to kind of muddy the waters between legislation, you get what's happening now. So that's my worry with advisory capacity. But I do think there's an advisory capacity that could be really beneficial, but you need to have a very clear delineation to stop that kind of problem, but again, if you reconcile that it's about philosophy, then it should be a group of philosophers. It shouldn't be 9 fucking lawyers. It should be like 57 fucking people, including like celebrities and shit. Like they should be weird. They should be this weird think tank that like is just being like, but probably email was thought of like something you would put in your locker in 1776, and it's like, yeah, you're right, Ashton Kutcher, that it doesn't have to be like, I don't have to write a legal treatise by a lawyer to defend that. It's like, that's more valid, actually, what you said. It's like that, I don't know. I'm just, it's not what people think it is. Nothing is what people think it is. That's the whole problem with everything. If it was, I don't know, whatever. Zelda's really good, man. I know you don't play the video games, but Tears of the Kingdom is so fucking amazing. I really did not expect it to be very good. I can't believe it. It's so good. It's so good.
Ariel's playing it and she loves it too. Yeah, I've watched her play it.
It's so funny. You fuck up so bad all the time in that game. It's so funny. Like I tried to make like a car and I blew it up. Like you just constantly I make a thing and then it drives off a cliff. It's so funny how many ways you can fuck up and how many stupid things you can build. I don't know, and you can make dicks. Everyone's making dicks. It's a really, really good game. Oh boy.
No, like all the best games, that's what ends up happening somehow. Like if you don't give players a chance to make something obscene, they're gonna fight it until they can.
Yeah. I mean, it's really amazing, man. It's like, it feels like Minecraft, which is, if you hear that, it's like, how did they make Zelda feel like Minecraft and still feel like Zelda? And they did. And that's an impossible task, and they've done it. And it really feels Minecrafty, and I'm Minecrafting around, and I'm doing the weird things that I like in Minecraft, but other people don't necessarily have to do that. They can just ride around on cars and fly in like little jets and stuff. But I'm like making weird unicycles and trying to, just do stupid shit. You know, it's the fucking, it's so good. It's so good. There's been a lot of good video games I've been playing lately. Oh yeah, but we don't have time to talk about that because it's the end of the show.
It is the end of the
show,
right,
Kevin. Do we have end of the show music?
I mean, not really.
We gotta make I know you have the credits that you made, but we need an audio credits, you know?
Yeah, we do. We need to have like an announcer read them so that
if you play the credits, can I talk over that, or is that like, does that end the show? Do you know what I mean? I don't know how technically it works.
I mean, I can play the music, or I can also just cue it up right now.
Hold
on. Give me a second here. Hold on.
I think you're gonna have to stop it because I don't think I'll go fast enough to catch up. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just play last week's show, and then you can talk over that.
Last week's show.
Yeah.
What? What's happening right now? We're in uncharted waters.
Nope.
This is the weirdest podcast we've ever had. And Kevin, we did this weird end of the show. I told Kevin to edit in a certain way, and it was a bad idea. I shouldn't have told him to edit that. Sorry, the end of the show might have been weird. Check us out on thathappenspod.com if you want to see the video we put at the end of the show that you might not have understood if you listened to the end of the show on the podcast. So what's happening, Kevin?
All right, I'm gonna play the ending credits.
You're gonna play it on. Okay, I got it. You might have to pause it so I can read them. But yeah,
okay, I'll pause it if necessary.
But this is the end of the show. And then after this, we'll end the show, and then you'll play the credits.
Yes. Okay. So people watching this live are going to get two doses of credits here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. But until next time, I'm reading this. Jesus Christ, we got to get out of here. That's our show, everybody. Bye. That Happens, a podcast. Starring Spencer Crittenden, Kevin Day, Ariel Day, right? It's Ariel Day?
Yeah. She wasn't
Ariel
in this one.
Day. No, but it was. Oh, yeah. She's not in this one. Okay, so we can't do different credits. I guess we need to. Jesus Christ! Executive producer Kevin Day. Director Kevin Day. Wait, this. I gotta come up with a script. Executive produced and directed by Kevin Day. Original music by Ryan Elder and Corey Geyer, also known as Gastonod. Original art by Kelly Fontecchio. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at thathappenspod, or send us an email, thathappenspod@gmail.com. Give me money, patreon.com/thesixler. Oh boy, I really, I mean, you probably need it more than me. I'm not going to lie. I get it. But if you can give me money, I like it. I like money. Here's the thing. I found out that you can't. Here's a secret, Kevin. I was planning to make money, and then once I finally made money, I was going to refund everyone on Patreon forever and give everyone their money back, because it's like, hey, I only did this in case I really needed it, and it turns out I didn't need it, and here you go. But I haven't gotten the money yet, and then I found out you can only refund like a couple months, and so I was like, oh, this plan does not work. So I mean, I never told anyone that I was ever going to do that, so it's not like you can ask for a refund. But all right, that's the show. Get out of here and the show.
All right, bye everybody.